The concept of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates defined. The dictionary defines carbohydrates as: carbohydrates are the major source of metabolic energy, the sugars and starches. Chemically, they are composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in the ratio CnH2nOn. Carbohydrates are organic compounds important as food to plants and animals. They are derived from carbon dioxide and water through the action of sunlight on chlorophyll. Main carbohydrates. The main carbohydrates are the monosaccharide sugars, of which glucose, fructose, and galactose. Carbohydratism provides 50 to 70% of energy intake. It is possible to speak of these as the physical energy values to distinguish between these and similar energy values obtained from the oxidation of these same foods in the animal body, the physiological energy values. Complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates consist of many single sugar units. Larger polymers of carbohydrates are called polysaccharides. Starches represent polymers of glucose units, either as a straight chain, amylose, or with a branched structure, amylopectin. This group is digested by humans. Other polysaccharides are known as non-starch polysaccharides, NSP, and are not digested by human enzymes. The distinction is not an exact one, since no difference in the energy output is obtained from carbohydrates when they are oxidized in vitro or in vivo. In both instances, the energy liberated is always quantitatively identical, respective to the rate at which it is set free, provided, of course, that the oxidation is complete. Short and longer chains. Short chains of 3 to 10 monosaccharides are oligosaccharides. This group is found in foods, onions, and legumes. Longer chains of sugars are polysaccharides. The type includes glycogen in animals and starches and fibers in plants. Ultimately, the energy needs of the body are derived almost wholly from the body proteins themselves, as the stores of body fat are exhausted. Simple and complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates are sugars. Complex carbohydrates are made of many sugars joined together. Good carbohydrates are substances in their natural state. This category involves food which has not been altered or changed by people. The benefit of good carbohydrates is a low glycemic index. The examples are fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, cereals, etc. In contrast, bad carbohydrates are those substances processed by people. Nutrition. The nutrition process begins in the mouth. Maltose is broken down into 2 glucose molecules with the help of the enzyme maltase. Sucrose is broken down by sucrase to glucose and fructose, and lactose is broken down by lactase to form glucose and galactose. The end result is monosaccharides, glucose, galactose, and fructose are then absorbed and transported to the liver. Fructose and galactose are the main source of energy. Some glucose is stored, and some enter the general blood circulation. In general, the physiologic energy value of proteins is, on the contrary, less than its physical energy value. It is well known that while certain Oriental peoples are capable of strenuous exertions on a diet that consists mainly of carbohydrates, rice, the Eskimo of the far north depends primarily upon a diet of protein and fat for his energy supplies. Benefits of carbohydrates. The main benefits of carbohydrates are that they are easily obtained energy, the source of glucose, dietary and insoluble fiber. The end products of the oxidation of these two substances are the same under all conditions, namely, carbon dioxide and water. Diabetes. Diabetes is a disordered metabolism characterized by high levels of blood glucose. According to statistical results, 18 million people in the USA have diabetes. Prevalence is high among African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Native Americans. Some carbohydrates are dangerous for human health as it can cause obesity problems and other diseases. The most popular food with bad carbohydrates are candy, baked goods, and sodas. Health risks caused by diabetes. Diabetes damages the heart, blood vessels, kidneys, eyes, and nerves. That carbohydrates, as a source of muscle energy, are not indispensable is inferred from the fact that muscular exercise is still possible after carbohydrate starvation when the respiratory quotient would indicate that fats almost alone were being oxidized, and furthermore that diabetic individuals. Diabetes 2. This type is characterized by a decrease in the sensitivity of cells to insulin. Insulin is present, often in high levels, but the cells cannot respond to it. The consequence is limited amounts of glucose which enters the cells, so blood glucose levels rise. The main causes of diabetes 2 are environmental factors, genetic predisposition, and lifestyle. People who can utilize little or no carbohydrate are capable of considerable muscular activity, again with a low respiratory quotient indicating a preponderance of fat oxidation. Comments. The chief and probably the entire burden of physical exercise usually falls upon carbohydrates and fats as energy sources. It is generally distributed between these two according to the diet on the days preceding the exercise. The more carbohydrates eaten, the greater is the amount which is oxidized and the respiratory quotient rises, but when the carbohydrate intake is low, the oxidation of fats is increased and the same quotient falls.